So hi, Cassidy Hall again. This is part 2 of Zoom for Effective Meetings. Once again, if you want to be able to get back to these slides, you can go to bit.ly/doceozoom2 and they will be there for you. I'm going to go into some documents today that are linked in here, so I do suggest that you write down that web address just in case you need to get back to these files. So we're going to start out talking about scheduling Zoom meetings in Outlook. If you want to be able to do that, I'm not going to walk you through step by step because there is a very well done video available from Zoom support that walks you through how to do that specifically. Okay, basically you have to download a particular plugin that then will come up and work within your Outlook mail, and it looks something like this. Okay, so it's really easy to do that as an invite within your calendar in Outlook. I suggest doing that if you are scheduling a lot of Zoom meetings. Next thing to consider, audio, video, and connectivity. I will show you how you can mute all of your participants at one time. So keep in mind that you can always do that. If you are the host, you have control. So if there is audio going on out there that you don't want in the background, feel free to click mute all and turn that off. Okay. Note that you cannot control the quality that your participant is getting in terms of audio, but remind them that if they're getting very poor quality because their bandwidth is low or something like that, there are a couple things that they could try. They could try turning off their camera. Okay, they could also try connecting from a phone, and I will show you what it looks like to show the whole Zoom invitation instead of the partial invitation so that indeed they can connect from a phone. Okay, so let's start with that. Let's start with what does our meeting look like when we schedule a meeting. So I'm going to jump over here to the meeting tab and put schedule a meeting. Note that you can fill everything out here. You can say, oh, I want it to be a recurring meeting. Your time zone is going to pop up automatically. If I make it a weekly meeting, it will actually allow me to connect multiple days. I could also end it either by a specific date or after a certain number of occurrences. Okay, some things down here that you could consider. You can password protect your meetings if you want to, and you would type in that password here. Down here you can mute your participants upon entry, so you're not getting any of that crazy feedback at the beginning. You could also select to do something like record automatically. Okay, if you record automatically, notice that it gives you the option to do that on the local computer or in the cloud. You do not want to do it in the cloud if you have students in your meeting because that is a violation of FERPA. Okay, and we'll talk about that just a little bit more. Alternative hosts can be entered down here. Okay, when you save that meeting, then you're going to see that you get the option out here to go back into a meeting. So I'm just going to click on this one as an example. So if you wanted to do something like create a poll, I now have the ability to do that after I've scheduled a meeting, that I can go down here and add polling questions in. So you can have single choice or multiple choice, pretty straightforward. You can add multiple questions, but you want to set up your poll questions ahead of time. I'll show you what that looks in a meeting, like in a meeting as well. Okay, here's what I was talking about the full invitation. So I could give them just this link right here. Problem with that is if they don't have access to Zoom to download or to use on their smartphone, then you're kind of limiting the ways in which they connect. So what we'd like you to do is copy the entire invitation. You will see that within this invitation, they also have the option to dial in. And if they decide to dial in, they can do that from any standard phone. It does not have to be a smartphone. Okay, so it just gives them more options to be able to connect. So I'm going to go back here and we're going to start taking a look at menus. Note here that I'm not going to go through these specifically, but that I have two documents available for you. One that goes over what the menus look like and what those menus do. So this is like the general first document of that. There is also the option over here to Zoom Advanced to look at advanced menus and what those kinds of features are. So those documents are in there for you. Everything I'm going to show you now will be available to go back to within those documents. Okay, so let me switch over really quickly to a meeting. So I'm in a meeting now, and if I start my video, you're going to see me pop up on the screen up top there, part of me anyway, because I have it cut off a little bit. You will also see that this is me attached via my phone. Okay, so I have my phone turned on and I'm attached there as well, but you'll notice there that I don't have the audio activated, so you're seeing my profile picture. So if you upload a profile picture into Zoom, that's what's going to come up when you don't have your video turned on. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that real quick. So I'm going to stop my video once again. Thank you. So here are my tools. Note that they float down here at the bottom of the screen, and I have two things automatically turned on over here. What I do every time I start a meeting is I click Manage Participants, and I also click Chat. What happens over here on the right is that those things stack on top of one another. Okay, so I can see Manage My Participants up here at the top, and I can see that I only have 2 participants right now, and they're both me. Here are those tools that I can utilize as a participant to say things like no, or yes, or go faster, or thumbs up. So I have all of those different options when I turn on that nonverbal thing that I was talking about in part 1. I also have the ability to mute everyone from right here. Very, very important. So always pay attention to that button. Note that it is under your Manage Participants tab and utilize it when you start getting feedback. Here is the chat box, okay? And note that if I drag down here and show you what the chat box looks like, that I can chat to everyone, or I can select an individual who is connected if I have that private chat feature turned on. I could also, if I have the file transfer turned on, transfer a file here by clicking on File, selecting the file that I want, and shooting it off in here so that people can download it at their end. Really important button over here. These 3 little dots allow you at the end to save the chat. Note that it's not giving me that option right now because I don't have anything to save in chat. But sometimes as chat gets busy and you want to be able to save that at the end of a meeting that you're not recording, then just click that Save Chat button. It'll let you save it as a file. Okay, you can also unmute all here if you need that. Here's some more options too if you want to do anything. Last thing I'll show you here is that for my co-host here, I always have this More button for anybody in my meeting. So if I know I have to leave a meeting early and I want to leave somebody else in charge, click that More button and say Make Host. Then that person is in charge of the meeting and they can therefore forward being able to mute all participants and control things within the meeting. Okay, some of the other features. If I go into share screen, note that you have share screen options of basically anything that you currently have open on your device. Okay, so if you wanted to share a PowerPoint and you had it open, you would be able to click on it here and share the screen. Okay, you also have a whiteboard built in. I have a lot of faculty that use this option of a whiteboard because they have a curriculum that needs to be written, basically, problems that might need to be worked out. So sciences and the maths use this frequently. Note that it's not real convenient for me to try to draw with a mouse, but a lot of those people will connect with another device that has a touch screen, such as a tablet, and be able to draw within their class. Okay, so that is there and you can utilize it if you want to. Another feature that is there is once I go into share screen mode and say I'm going to share my Chrome window here, I also have the option to, you'll see that when I go in and share the screen, your share tools actually pop up now to the top of the page. Okay, so you can see them up here. And if I want to select annotate, I can then draw and annotate over top of the document that is on my screen. Okay, once again, not totally convenient if I'm using a mouse on my computer, but it's there, it's available. I can also select to add text to the screen. So there's all kinds of options built into this annotation tool that makes life easy. You can also save annotations if you want to. Okay, so I'm going to clear that, clear all my drawings. I'm going to turn off my annotation tool up here at the top. Hopefully it's going to let me. And I'm just going to go into stop sharing the screen. Okay, so just a side note, if you are wanting to share more than one camera, you can do that. Okay, if you are going to do that, you need to remember that that is a share screen option as well. So if I want to share a secondary camera and I already have it plugged into my computer, it's going to come up here. I select it, I share it. Then I'm going to get a button in the upper left of my screen that allows me to select to switch to the other camera anytime that I want to. Okay, so that is all about share screen. There's also a little button next to the share screen menu, an up arrow, and note that you can also select to have multiple participants share at the same time, and it will actually split the screen for you. Okay, so if you need that, it's there. I already talked about chat. Here are other tools. So for instance, if I'm using breakout rooms or want to utilize breakout rooms, here's where they would pop up. You can do auto breakout rooms. You can say how many rooms you want here based on the number of participants you have, and it will auto break them into equal or almost equal rooms. If you want to assign them manually, you click manually and hit create breakout rooms, and it will come up with a list of the number of rooms and then all of your participants. And as you fill room number 1, the participants drop off the list so that you can't put them in more than one room. Okay, really easy to utilize. Your students at the far end are going to see on their screen pop up, you've been invited to join a breakout room, and they just click join and it goes into the breakout room. Okay, note that as a faculty member or as a person hosting the meeting, you can jump from room to room and talk to everybody in those breakout rooms as well. Okay, so that is most of what you're seeing in here, most of the features that are available within here. Let's talk a little bit about recording to wrap this up, okay? Because recording is very, very important, and we have a lot of people that need to record their meetings. So if you need to record a meeting, in this secondary document called Zoom Advanced Features, I have lots of information on recording meetings. Note that a FERPA violation would be if I have my students' faces and their names on the screen in the meeting I am recording, then I can't record that meeting to the cloud. I need to put that meeting in a safe place for recording. Okay, so I have that all written out here. The best thing to do with your meetings is to use Microsoft Stream, which we all have access to. Okay, so if you search UIdaho Microsoft Stream, it's going to let you log into Microsoft Stream with your UIdaho credentials. There is a document here that shows you how to upload a recording into Microsoft Stream, and then you can share it with all of your students from there. Also note that Microsoft Stream will allow you to trim recordings. So I have a lot of people who tell me, well, I want to get rid of that first couple minutes of the meeting that didn't mean anything before everybody was connected, and I want to get rid of that conversation at the end of the meeting. So if you want to do that, you can trim the recording within Microsoft Stream, and if you want to do that, there is a link there to be able to look how to. Okay, I also have some faculty that like to utilize OneDrive, so this walks you through utilizing OneDrive and how you might create a folder and share it with participants, such as students, but I do this for committees that I chair, so it's a very convenient way for me to share multiple documents by just sharing an entire file with somebody or an entire folder. Okay, so that's what that looks like. Also, I have some information down here on if you're going to record and save something to YouTube. If you're going to do that, keep in mind that you need to be doing something that's not going to violate FERPA, but you have the option within YouTube to keep things unlisted instead of public. And so this walks you through how to upload a file and make it unlisted. Okay, I use YouTube a lot because I do a lot of these training videos and I save them out to YouTube for easy access for everyone. Okay, last thing, little thing that I will show you is over here in your meetings, you can also select Two, go to the Reports tab. The Reports tab will give you access to your previous meetings. It will give you statistics on usage, who was connected, how long they were connected, all of that kind of information. So if you need any of that, please consider using Reports. And thank you for joining me. Hopefully this was helpful.